don't want to just throw the grease out. That fat, instead of putting butter into the butternut squash, it's going to smooth it out really, really well. Then we're going to have a ½ cup of purple onion. That's going to be really good. And a teaspoon of allspice. Kind of tastes like nutmeg and clove and ginger and all kind of other things. It's got notes of various different types of spices. That's why I like to use it, because it has a very well-rounded flavor. So we're going to go ahead and mash all this together. We're basically making a casserole. This is really, really good. I love this. So mix it really, really well. Once you do that, I'm going to go ahead and get this stuff out of our way. Once you do that, you're going to put it in a casserole dish. I like to oil mine up a little bit. Not necessarily mandatory, but I just like it. It makes for an easier cleanup, to be honest, and also it helps the dish to scoop out easier. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my stuff in here. Look at that. Has wonderful color, has wonderful texture. So we're going to get all of our stuff out of the mixing bowl. So I've put half of my cheese in here. I have 2 cups in the recipe total, but I put 1 cup in already. Now I'm going to take the other cup and sprinkle it all over the top. And then I'm going to put it in the oven along with the duck, bake it at 350 degrees until it is a little golden brown on top. This one should take about 40 minutes. So while all that's in the oven, let's work on something a little bit fun. Everybody likes French fries, or as we like to say in America, freedom fries. But today, with this dish, we're going to have some fancy fries. Now, this is all different types of vegetables, and we're going to batter and fry them up. So I'm going to teach you how to make frying easy. Frying is just like baking in an oven or doing anything else where you have a precise temperature. The problem is that a lot of people fry on the stove, and they can't tell exactly what temperature that they have going on. But I can make it very easy for you by showing you this. This is what's called a candy/deep fry thermometer. You can get them at nearly any local supermarket. You clip it right on the side of the pot that you happen to be frying in, and you can tell exactly what temperature you're at. Today we're going to be frying at 375 degrees. That's pretty standard. That's what a lot of people fry at. And we're going to take these veggies, put them in our batter, and get them in there. But first, I want to show you one of the veggies I didn't explain to you, and it's for this very special reason. It's this. And I know most of you are probably saying, what in the world is that? This is called jicama. Some people also pronounce it jicama. It is a root. It is a root vegetable. What you're going to do is just go ahead and skin it and cut it. It's almost like a giant water chestnut. It's very, very crunchy. And what you want to do is maintain that crunchiness. And that's exactly what is going to happen when we cook it this way. Because of the batter, it protects everything on the outside. So I've already peeled and sliced some of that. So let's work a little bit on the batter that we're going to use for this. In this bowl, I have 2 cups of buttermilk and 1 cup flour. I've stirred it together and let it sit for a little bit so it stands up. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of salt, a little bit of garlic powder, some fine ground black pepper, and a little bit of saffron. Now, saffron, as you can see, is very vivid in color. It's actually the little filaments from the saffron flower. And what you want to do with this is be very, very sparing. Very sparing. But this is going to add a new dimension to the batter itself. So I'm just going to grind this up a little bit. One good way to do something like this in such a small amount is use your thumb against your palm and just grind it good. And you can see it's turning my palm a little bit yellow. Isn't that crazy? This is what they use to make yellow rice with, and they use very, very small amounts of it. So we're just going to go ahead and put that in our batter. We're going to mix this up a little bit. And then I'm going to get some of my veggies in here. Just a few of each, you know. Some jicama, some green beans, onions, golden beets. Those are fun. Now what you want to do with these is just get them really well covered. As you can see, it's a messy process. So make sure you have one hand for mixing and one hand for keeping clean. So you're going to come over here to your hot oil, heat it at 375 degrees. I'm just going to drop these in real quick. And watch them go. Now what you want to be very careful of when you're working with oil is that you don't drop any water in it, because the water will instantly boil and throw the hot oil everywhere. So for safety purposes in the kitchen, you want to make sure that you're very careful about using your water. You can hear that popping. The popping and the sizzling that you hear and see when you're working with a fryer is the water in what you're cooking out. So that's why large amounts of it are dangerous, because they immediately boil, as I was saying before, and they throw stuff everywhere. So be careful, please. Get this off my hands. So let's talk about our scripture reference for the day. Today's scripture comes from Exodus, and it is about the harvest. It is from Exodus 23, verse 19. It says, "The first of the first fruits of your ground you shall bring into the house of the Lord your God." Now you see, the Lord is showing us that He provides for us. He gives us abundance, but then He means for us to take the best of that, the best of our lives, of everything we do, and do it for Him. As long as we do that and live within His will, He will continue to increase that abundance. Speaking of abundance, let's get back to our food. Over here we've got our fancy fries, and they look great, don't they? Look at this. So let's go ahead and get them out on a little paper towel. Make sure you get a little bit of everything, which by this point, it's a little hard to tell what's what, but that's okay. It's kind of like a box of chocolates. It's a surprise, everything you bite into. So go ahead and put that off aside. We're gonna let these cool, and we're gonna go ahead and get over to our oven. Now, a little earlier, I was sneaky. I went ahead and took the lid off of our duck so I could get that little bit of a browning effect that I was telling you guys about. And doesn't she look wonderful? Look at this. That looks great. Now I'm gonna go ahead and let that cool for a second before I cut into it. You always wanna make sure and let meat rest a little bit before you cut it. That way all the juices don't fall out. Let's go ahead and also get our casserole. Wow. This looks wonderful too. Look at that, nice and golden brown. That cheese on top just looks great. So we're gonna go ahead and plate this up. I'm gonna start with the casserole. Get me a little serving spoon over here and just scoop a little out. Oh, this is gonna be wonderful. Just like that. Get some of our fancy fries. Ooh, they're warm. Over here. And as with the harvest, everything's ripening and turning from green to gold, so too we have nice, browned, hearty dishes. So let's go and get some of our duck. We've got her over here, still got a hot pot, and I just want a little bit of breast meat, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off the side right here. And she came out wonderful. Look at that meat. Doesn't that look great? Very, very delicious. Go ahead and put a little of that on the plate. Carve a little bit more. Wow. And then what you're going to want to do is get a spoon, and as I was talking about earlier, go ahead and get down into that fruit so that, oh, doesn't this look wonderful? Check this out. It's got the wonderful oils from the duck. It's got all of the wonderful tastes of the different nuts. You can see how they've browned, they've nice and toasted, so those essential oils have opened up and caramelized, and that fruit gonna go right on top of that duck right here, and that's going to be absolutely delicious. Look at that meal. Something wonderful for an autumn evening. It's going to please your family, and it's going to please your stomachs. I hope that you've had a wonderful time today, and remember, the abundance in your life is given from above, so give the best of it back. For this is life, and we are meant to live it for God. Everything else is gravy, just like on this duck. I hope that you come back next time and check us out some more. If you want, you can go online and see the recipes from today. I encourage you to do that. And if you have any questions, go ahead and email me. I'll get right back to you. Thanks. Have a blessed day. Get on out there and enjoy some manna from heaven.